Hi there, the Zealot here. Today we are going to recap the Season 3 finale titled Welcome to the Tombs, which aired on the 31st of March 2013, written by Glenn Mazzara and directed by Ernest Dickerson. The episode starts with the governor brutally beating Milton for torching the pit of walkers. Milton asks what Penny would think of her father now. "She'd be afraid of me," the governor admits. "But if I'd been like this from the start, she'd be alive today." Milton then asks what became of Andrea and if she was still alive. The governor then brings Milton into his torture chamber, where a bloodied Andrea is bound to the dental chair. He declares his plans to kill everyone at the prison. Andrea pleads with the governor to stop all of this, but he ignores her. The governor orders Milton to gather his tools and kill Andrea. When Milton retrieves the tools from the table behind her chair, he intentionally fumbles the tray and drops everything on the floor. When he picks them up, he leaves a pair of pliers next to the chair so Andrea has a chance of getting loose. The governor holds out a knife for Milton, urging him to kill Andrea. Milton takes the weapon and turns toward her, as though he is ready to carry out the deed. But instead, he lunges at the governor and attempts to kill him. The governor quickly disarms Milton and stabs him repeatedly in the stomach. "Now you're gonna die, and you're gonna turn, and you're gonna tear the flesh from her bones," he tells Milton before leaving the room. "In this life, you kill or you die and you kill." Meanwhile, Rick and the survivors pack up the prison and load supplies into the cars. Rick tries to talk to Carl, but Carl ignores him. Looking up to the catwalk, Rick sees a hallucination of Lori staring back at him. As Daryl mourns his brother, Carol praises Merle for improving their odds against the governor. In the cell block, Michonne forgives Rick for considering the governor's offer and thanks him for allowing her into the group. We also see Rick passively flirts with Michonne, and this seems to be the root of the relationship the writers had in mind. Back in Woodbury, the governor assembles his troops. The soldiers pile into their vehicles and wait for his next order. Tyrese informs the governor that he and Sasha will not be joining them because this isn't our fight. Instead, he offers to stay behind and guard the women and children. After a tense moment, the governor consents. The governor and his soldiers arrive at the prison, where they destroy the guard towers with grenade launchers. Several walkers are seen staggering around the prison yard, but are quickly mowed down with mounted .50 caliber machine guns. Once every walker is dead, the governor and soldiers leave their vehicles and proceed to storm the cell block. However, they find no sign of the survivors. Back in the torture chamber, a dying Milton slumps against the wall. He tells Andrea that he secretly left a pair of pliers by her feet. As Andrea struggles to pick up the tool, Milton instructs her to stab him in the head so that he won't reanimate after she cuts herself free. In Woodbury, Tyrese checks in on the women and children. He and Sasha agree that they may have to slip out when everyone returns, as they are unsure of the governor's intentions. Meanwhile, the governor splits up his troops to investigate the dark prison corridors known as the Tombs. Soon after, flash and smoke grenades detonate, and the prison alarm sounds. Startled and partially blinded, the soldiers panic and try to disperse. The governor repeatedly orders them to stand your ground, but walkers start crowding them from every direction. The entire group is forced to retreat, but once outside, Glenn and Maggie ambush them with gunfire. The surviving members of Governor's army quickly flee the prison. Herschel, Beth, and Carl watch the battle from the adjacent forest. A teenage boy from Woodbury escaping on foot runs into them. After being explicitly told to put the gun down, the boy instead insists on handing it to Carl and moves toward him, to which Carl responds by shooting him. Rick and the others decide to chase down the governor. Carl tells Rick he wants to fight, then brags about killing one of the governor's soldiers. Herschel clarifies that the soldier was just a scared boy on the run. "He drew on us," Carl insists. Rick says he believes Carl, but Herschel's account of the incident leaves him shaken. Meanwhile, the governor halts the retreating caravan in the middle of the road. "What the hell are you doing?" he screams. The Woodbury residents refuse to fight, insisting the prison is not worth their lives. The governor loses his sanity and furiously opens fire without a second thought. The residents are shot in the back as they try to run, as Martinez and Schumpert watch in horror. Alan is shown as last soldier standing. He desperately points his gun at the governor, but is easily taken down with a shot to the head. The governor, out of ammo, gets in his truck and motions to Martinez and Schumpert. They reluctantly get in. We see that Karen is still alive, hiding under a corpses that fell on her. Back in the torture chamber, Andrea manages to grab the pliers with her toes but then drops them. Milton is now dead, but his fingers start to move. As they prepare for pursuit, Rick again asks Carl about the shooting. Carl admits the Woodbury boy had surrendered. Still, he says, "I couldn't take the chance," pointing out that Dale died because he couldn't kill the walker stuck in the mud. Lori died because Rick didn't kill Andrew, and Merle died because Rick didn't kill the governor. Glenn and Maggie offer to help guard the prison in case the governor returns. Rick, Michonne, and Daryl leave in pursuit of the governor. The survivors finds the aftermath of the governor's roadside massacre. Karen, the lone survivor, hiding in one of the abandoned trucks, shows herself with her hands raised. Meanwhile, Milton slowly rises as a reanimated walker. He shuffles toward Andrea, who manages to cut through her bonds with the pliers just as Milton reaches her. Their screams echo through the hall, and a gunshot rings out. Tyrese and Sasha are standing guard at Woodbury's gate when the survivors arrives with Karen. They get into a little gunfight until Karen explains to Tyrese how the governor killed everyone. She tells Tyrese to stand down. Rick mentions that Andrea never made it to the prison and suggests she could still be in Woodbury. They head to the interrogation room and notice a pool of blood under the door. Inside, Milton lies dead and Andrea huddles against the wall. Michonne rushes to her aid, with Rick behind her. Andrea tells Rick how she had tried to stop them. "You're burning up," Michonne says to Andrea, who exhales and pulls her coat away from her collarbone to reveal a bite wound from Milton. Michonne cries as Andrea apologizes for her actions and insists on shooting herself. "I know how the safety works," she says as she asks for Rick's gun, musing at the first survival tip he gave to her. In Guts, Rick lets her know that she is one of them, and Daryl states that he now too feels the same way she did about needing people to survive in the world. Michonne stays with Andrea while the group waits outside. A gunshot sounds. Afterward, the survivors returns to the prison with a school bus filled with Woodbury's survivors, as well as Andrea's body, in the back of a truck. Tyrese leads the survivors into the prison, where they are welcomed by Herschel and Beth at the entrance. Carl confronts his father about what this is. "They're gonna join us," Rick tells Carl, who walks away angrily at his decision. Rick looks up at the catwalk. Lori is nowhere to be seen, and Rick knows that he has made the right choice. This episode was truly amazing. It tied season 3 perfectly, although I was angry back when it released because Rick didn't kill the governor right then and there. But overall, very fantastic episode. I'll give it a 10 Walker heads out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Take care.